Hey guys, Foxy here, and this will be part 1, or a redo of part 1 of What If Female Izuku Went to Space. Now, I'm redoing this because I believe I could have done a lot better. Now, I know I said I was going to do What If Naruto Was the Last Man on Earth, but I was doing it a few times and it just did not feel right. I kept stumbling over my words, and the timeline was all messed up. So I'm taking a break on it. I'm going to redo it after I am done with my work. I'm getting this done, giving you guys something before I really have to start working again. Now, I started summer school. No, I did not fail any of my classes. This is just to get extra credit. So when it goes on my resume, I look great. I am doing fitness and aquamarine science. Or marine science. Either way, it's science for water. So that's going to be really fun. Now, I'm planning to go for full credit. I don't know about... hold on. No, sorry. My brain is not working today or ever. So, just hold on. Sorry. You know when you have that itch in your back and you have to scratch it and you can't talk while trying to get to it? That's the same thing for me. Just somewhere on my back, I'm itchy, and I just have to pause, scratch it, and I'm done. But there's another itchy spot. You have to keep itching your back until your back is practically covered in red marks. It's not fun. Either way, I better stop or shut up. Okay, I stopped. Now, where did I leave off? Well, I have nothing really else to say. I will be trying to get out what if Naruto was the last man on Earth. Sorry. What if Naruto was the last man on Earth? Now, I'm also planning to restart or redo What If Naruto Was in My Little Pony. Now, I'm going to rewatch the series because I barely can remember how it goes. It has been such a long time since I watched My Little Ponies because I do not have Netflix nor any physical DVDs of My Little Ponies. I need to complain to my dad. Either way, I am sorry. It's going to take me time to actually watch and do stuff. I am talking too much. Either way, we're going to hop right into this before I actually start my online schooling. And yeah, let's get this boat on the road. Izumi's POV. I swung from the willow tree. The willow tree must be 5,000 years old. It's so old and so tall, so strong yet so big. It can hold my weight so easily. I swung so high as Kachan, my brother all but in blood, pushed me higher and higher into the sky. I felt like I could reach for the sun. The sun was so bright, and little doubles of white clouds filled the sky. It was beautiful. Pearly white clouds, the shining sun, the rustling of leaves in the hot summer day. It wasn't too hot where you were sweating, but it wasn't too cold where you were freezing. It was just right. I felt alive. I felt so good. I laughed and giggled as Kachan kept swearing at the bug that kept crawling on his foot. It must have been a worm, maybe a caterpillar? Who knows? But either way, it was bothering him like a puppy to a chew toy. I laughed and giggled, but my amusement slowly fizzled out as I saw dots of black stars filling the sky, slowly but surely, a dot after another, stars. They were coming closer. They were so black and they moved so fast. Then, without me noticing it, they crashed through the sky into the earth, making the ground boom and rumble. I screamed as I fell and landed on my arm. It hurt. A twig got stuck in my arm. I was now full out blob sobbing. It hurt. It hurt, it hurt, it hurt. Kachan was there. He held me. He was trying to shush me while also looking scared. Then a creature popped out of the black star. It was all white, and it looked vaguely human. So vague you barely even can notice it. It definitely was not bipedal, but it had no skin and a round head, and that was basically all that was left of it. It had 4 fingers decorated in black metallic sharp nails that dug into the earth. A humongous mouth that opened impossibly wide. I shrieked in horror. It was disgusting. It had these weird bumps on it. It looked like one of those toads that Kachan tried to get me to kiss once. Something from Princess and the Frog? I can't really remember it, but I loved the movie. But it was just so ugly and horrifying. But it moved impossibly slow. It was like it was trying to jump and run at the same time, which I can say definitely never works. It's impossible to move through the air while jumping like that. But either way, it was running. It was running so quickly, and we were frozen. Why couldn't we move? It was just so horrifyingly disgusting. Its eyes, well, it didn't have eyes, but it was just something about it told me it was just dangerous, terrifying. Then all of a sudden our mother came screaming like a mother bear on steroids. She barged through our patio door, rumbling with anger. She ran impossibly quicker than I could ever believe. She jumped. She was so agile. She jumped through the air, right onto the monster's back. It was twice as big as her, but she held on tightly. She had a knife. She slashed and cut, drove the knife impossibly deep into the creature. Bright orange, sickly sweet blood spurted out and landed on us. 3 more were coming from all sides. We huddled and I cried. Mother was a monster. A beautiful, courageous monster that wanted to protect us. I wanted to help, but I was frozen with fear. Something came from space, threatened our home. Now they were being milled down by our mother. A mother who was so kind, who couldn't even hurt a fly, who always gave out extra money to the poor, who strove for the best in humanity, was now killing and ending lives with a kitchen knife. But soon the numbers grew and grew, and Mother started to get slow. She was now looming over us. She was huddling us. She was now getting cut. Dribbles of light blood came out, landing on the ground. Drip, drop, drip, drop. Then something came out from the bushes. It was the same creature, but it looked smaller, thinner, and surely had less bumps on it. It launched at Mom and landed on her back, and the mouth opened impossibly wide yet again. But Mom was swift and moved her neck out of the way. But the creature bit her shoulder. It was too deep. Blood came gushing out as if it was a river, spurting and gushing. It landed on us. I felt sick. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't look away. I couldn't move. The knife clattered on the ground softly. Without even realizing it, I picked it up. It was sticky and wet, mixed with my mother's blood from the monsters. I gulped. stopped. As I saw my mother thrashing, the creature held on tightly, but it was surely being shaken off. Then my mother started to punch, and the face seemed to cave in. It slouched and fell, but my mom was still bleeding. She picked us up and ran, even though the creatures were jumping, lunging, running towards us. She ran and ran to the patio door. It surely wouldn't hold back these monsters, but it was our home, our safe haven. Then another one of those thin, less bumpy monsters, came out. It tackled us once again. Now, the horrifying thing is that the monster was smart. It grabbed the knife from my thin hand, cutting me in the process. I screeched in alarm. It hurt. The creature seemed to reel back, holding where it seemed its ears should be. It staggered, but still it clutched the knife so tightly, and I froze. The sun just hit it right, so very right, where the bright red blood and orange seemed to glow. Its skin shone in the light, and its jaw opened so very wide, and the knife gleamed with red and orange blood, and the silver tip. Drip, drop, drip, drop. The grass was stained orange and red. Then the creature leaped. My mother was too weak. Her skin was pale, her eyes were sunken. She was tired. There was so much blood. I was crying, along with my best friend. We had no idea what to do. We were so small. We were barely to the height of my mother's hip. We were too tiny, too small. And all we could do was cry. The knife was plunged into my mother's chest. She screamed louder than we ever could. It seemed to draw and hurt the creatures around us. And in one valiant attempt of survival, she pulled the knife out. In later years, I would realize that was a terrible mistake my mother made. But in the present, she grabbed the knife that was now out of her chest and stabbed it upwards into the monster's brain, or where it should be. A stab and a twist, and a gush of orange blood and bone flew out. Then my mother collapsed. Her body seemed to be so broken now. Bruises and marks were left on her delicate skin. Her skin was way too pale. Her eyes were dim. Her breaths were shagged and rugged. Blood kept spewing out from her mouth. In my 5-year-old brain, I thought a kiss could help, like those princesses from the movies, or the princess who woke in the princess with one true love kiss. I kissed my mother's wounds, praying that something would happen. Nothing ever did. Instead, my mother gave me the bloody knife. Now, so much stickier and more disgusting, with blood. So much blood. Then she hugged me. Not one word was spoken, but I could tell that she loved us, as Katrin burrowed within her chest. Then sounds of crunching footsteps came, and screeching roars. Anger unknown to me, blossomed and bloomed in my chest. It was like an inferno. I got up. My 6-year-old body was, it wasn't weak nor strong, but I was so angry, so angry. So I clutched the knife tightly in my hand, and I ran. I ran and screamed like a bloody banshee. I cried as I cut, stabbed, sliced, and diced the aliens, the monsters who took away my mother, the person who was singing me stories and telling me old tales from the past. Show me a world in fiction books and tales. Sing me a song to sleep with princesses and princes, of unicorns and rainbows, of sunrises and sunsets, the moon and the stars. She sang and told me of stories now I will never be able to hear. These monsters took away my sun and moon, and it hurt. So, like a child with a temper tantrum, I threw, I cut, I rampaged, I screamed. Kacham was right behind me, but this time he had a rock. It was a decent-sized rock. It wasn't way too big nor too small. It barely fit in the palm of his hand, but he clutched it so tightly his hand started to bleed. Over time, each and every monster fell. We didn't know what they were thinking, but we didn't care. We were just so angry. Then, like a rhino, my father came. He was built and strong. He was 6 foot with a large shoulder range. His arms were muscular. His body was built to the nines. He was a lumberjack, then a police officer, then a military, then back to police officer, then I think they call them construction workers. Either way, my dad was built to the nines, scars littering every part of his body, and he smoked. He smoked, and I loved the smell. He was a strong presence in my life. And now, since he was here, I sobbed. I cried and wailed. And my father, as quick as a cheetah, he ran. His footsteps were loud and thunderous. He picked us up, but I could tell he was about to cry. My father was never an emotional guy. He understood feelings and he connected with us, but he never showed us them. But we can tell that he would hurt. How his fingers would tremble, how his nose would puff up when he was angry, how his ears would turn red when mom would compliment him, tell him how handsome he was. Father was always he was a dad. He was a dad, and I hugged my dad as tightly as I could. And my father, not knowing what to do, he picked up my mother's body and ran into the house. We stumbled downstairs. He was somehow still holding all three of us. Katja and I clutched on as tightly as we could, but Mother just laid there limply, jostling with the movement. Then Father covered her with a tarp. It was black as the midnight sky, and so cold. He wrapped her up, and we left. I sobbed and cried. I wanted to go back. My father somehow arranged a bag. I don't know when, but somehow he did when Kaski and I were crying. We were crying so hard. Our eyes could barely open. We kept sniffling and snotting. We couldn't breathe. It hurt. Our father came back, wherever he was, and picked us up again and ran. He ran. He didn't even take the chance for the car. He just ran. His thunderous footsteps echoed through the empty streets. Screams and wails, sirens and calls filled the void. There was so much going on. Booms and rattles. Screams. So many screams. Shut them out. Shut them out. They hurt. Anger now simmered into boiling rage. I clenched my teeth as I wanted to snarl.
I was angry, I was hurt, and these monsters, these aliens, took away everything. A few months ago, we found out that there was extraterrestrial life in space. We already started to colonize Mars, and we already set up a station on the moon. We were reaching for the stars with open hands. Our hands certainly were not clean, but we wanted something new, something to study, something to learn about. And when we opened our hearts, the enemy attacked, and they stabbed and cut our heart to pieces. Soon, somehow, we got to a military base. Did Father really run that far? I don't know. But either way, he got there. And the night was terrible. Cries and anguish wails filled the silence. Babies crying for their mothers. Boys crying for their fathers. Girls crying for their mothers. Widows crying for their beloved one. Dogs and cats meowing and howling for their owners. Tweetiling songs filled the sky of birds and the buzzing sound of bees and bugs. Everything was too loud. Stomps and foot marches from the military filled the wails and cries of all. I joined them as I cried for my mother. Koski was crying for his parents. They didn't make it. Everything was lost in a few hours. But with a simmering rage that filled my chest, I was certain to destroy all the aliens that dare attack and ravage our homeworld. We will show those aliens who the true monsters are, and why you shall never, ever cross humanity with a 10-foot fucking pole. And with that thought, I fell to sleep with anger and outrage in my chest. Koski was right along with me as we hugged and cuddled into each other. As my father loomed over us protectively, back to the sky, us to his stomach, he held us. Just for that little bit of time, he held us. And guys, we are done with the redo of part 1. I will be taking down part 1 of this, like the original one, because this one, it does a bit better. This feels a bit better. I like this one. Just comment down below and tell me how you like it. I'm sorry. Also, in the story, you will hear me kind of like messing up my words. That is because sometimes in my head, I'm trying to get things out through my mouth and I move way too quickly. So my tongue is like trying to do the hula and my mouth is not moving quick enough. That is an interesting way to put it. Either way, guys, I had to take a little break because one, I just had to get my work done on my Chromebook before my Chromebook actually died. But it's done, and I have 7 days of freedom. Well, actually 5 days, because tomorrow I will have to leave to go to my aunt's because my great grandfather, my grandma's dad, died, and we're going there for the funeral. We're leaving tomorrow just to get there. Then, when we get there, it'll be on Saturday. On Sunday, that's when the actual funeral will start, and I have no other clue. And, I'm just trying to get this out. Also, there are some complications with Naruto. I think I explained this in the beginning. I am sorry for not getting that out. Sorry, my English is failing me yet again. I'm sorry for not getting it out. I'm trying. It's just all the story ideas are just not staying concrete. I'm trying. Just give me a little more time, it's getting there. Also, someone wanted me to do what if Naruto was in My Little Pony. Now I want to know, do you want me to do a redo version? Because I 110% believe I could do better. Because I am planning now to watch My Little Pony yet again. I can't because I do not have a DVD of any of My Little Ponies. Nor can I use a TV because 1, tomorrow I'll be out of the house. And 2, my dad hates it because he says it's too girly. I just think he's jealous because he couldn't watch My Little Ponies when he was little. Sad, sad old man. But either way, oh, if my dad ever finds this out, he's gonna have his foot up my ass. What is it with my family and threatening people with a foot up their ass? I am sorry, guys. I just am contemplating that because I have threatened my sister with that numerous times, and I've done it a few times. Not all the way, just like a kick in the butt, but yeah. That's just a weird thing my family does. Either way, you're not here to listen to me questioning my family's bad habits. But yeah. I want to do a redo on My Little Pony. I am watching My Little Pony and I'm planning to watch My Little Pony because 1, I have my Chromebook, and on my Chromebook they have full episodes of My Little Pony. And I just found a 200 episodes full episodes of My Little Pony. So yeah, I'm excited. Because 1, I have terrible memory, so I have to rewatch stuff just to, get stuck in my brain. But yeah, I am planning to do that. I am talking way too much. Either way, I hope you guys have a great day, great day or good night. And I am 110% tired. I do not know if I'm just rambling for the hell of it. Either way, I am too tired to think. Hopefully, I do not regret this in the morning. Toodles!